Hey, my beautiful channel members. I'm so excited that you all joined me here on this little extra TLC that I like to give you guys. I hope you guys are enjoying the extra readings throughout the month, and I'm super excited. So you guys decided that you wanted spiritual guidance, oracle reading, so I sat down and I channeled some information. I pulled the current energy, and I haven't done this in a while where I channel all the information down, and I might start doing that. I go through phases, what feels right in the moment. So what I got was your current energy, okay, for some of you, and it was very, I don't want to say the word easy, but it felt good, okay? Sometimes I'll pick up on the energy and it will be like scribbles all over, or it will be like flowing. That's what the energy is. The energy is flowing, okay? That's what I'm getting. I don't know why I'm doing my hands like this, but this is what I'm getting here, okay? Reminds me of like what do you call those, conductor, how they like do with their hands, which resonates because the energy that I'm picking up on is based out of perfect harmony, is what I wrote at the very bottom. But so this reading is how to know that you're operating out of the fifth dimension, okay? And so what I got channeled from Spirit was some of you are already in this, type of energy, or you could like fluctuate, kind of like you're feeling into it and things may be holding you back. So how to, stay operating in this fifth dimension, okay, is you'll know because you'll start to remove any blockages up through the heart, okay? And you'll start living from the heart the way that you connect with others, is what I was getting. And you'll know this because you'll start to engage with others, your reactions towards others, no matter the circumstance, even if it's stressful, even if it's somebody that you're mad at or were mad at in the past. You start connecting with them through love and compassion and forgiveness. So anybody that completely destroyed your world, and this is the hardest part for some people. It's hard for people to forgive, right? They feel resentful or angry, and it's a part of the process of healing. And so you'll know when you've gotten to this point because you will stop living out of fear and anger and resentment towards those people or situations, or whatever situations you may have been born into, or your childhood, or your parents, or whatever, or an ex, how they treated you, or could have emotionally, physically hurt you, okay? I feel like when you get to this point of healing, it's almost like however this works for you. You could just wish them well, send them off with love. You don't have to speak to them. You could pray for them, whatever you do. You could ask the universe, to wish them well in their future so they don't do that to anyone else or themselves, because those emotionally damaged people hurt people, right? And so I feel like when you stop living in that fear, anger, and resentment, then you stop torturing yourself for what happened that was out of your control, and you don't carry that resentment, because that can cause blockages, and that could be, very stressful in your life to carry that anger or that pain, right? And so I feel like once you get to this level of healing, you release that, and you don't associate with that anymore. You leave that behind, because even that version of yourself, it's almost like you've made peace with that version of yourself, whether it brought the worst out in you, whether it was a very emotionally damaging time in your life. You can say to yourself, you know what, I forgive that person, and I accept what they went through, and I know that they're going to make it, because I'm proof, right? And so you can forgive your past as well, is what I'm getting here, without any anger or resentment for things that were out of your control, or things that you were in control of that maybe you didn't like how you handled the situation. So it's from moving from chaos to alignment, okay? It's breaking out of the matrix of some sorts, okay? And you start to instantly manifest your desires, because you got this faith that everything's going to be okay, right? Like I said, you have compassion towards others, even others that you meet currently, people that are angry, people, that want things a certain way, or may have changed what you have planned. It's almost like in your mind, you're like, okay, the universe may not want that for me, or God may not want that for me, how I have planned, but it's God's plan, or the universe's plan, whatever resonates for you. And so I'm going to, you know, go with the flow of whatever's going. If it's meant for me, it will come back to me in the right way. And I will forgive this person, and I hope that it aligns with them. If it's not meant for me, maybe it's meant for them, kind of thing. Do you see what I'm saying here? So it's not an easy process to do, but it frees your spirit, basically, is what I was getting. So you detach from outcomes. Like I said, if you have this something planned and it doesn't work out for you, that means God has something better planned for you, or it's not meant for you at that time, or your spirit guides or your angels, the universe, whatever resonates for you, right? And so you just surrender to the outcome, knowing that everything is going to line up better than what I had planned. You know, the universe has something better. God has something better planned for me. And when you start living out of love and compassion, being like, if it wasn't for me, like, let's just say that you obtained something that was really important to you, it could be an object or something like that, and someone stole that from you, like physically took it, whether it be a vehicle or someone stole your lunch, okay, in the fridge at work. That person must have needed it more than you did, right? And so be blessed that you can go out and, you know, God will find a way for you to take care of that situation. Something like that. These are just examples, okay? I'm not saying that it's right, but in their current state of mind, all you can do is wish them well and wish that they, you know, have better opportunities in their life where they don't have to lower their selves in vibration to do those types of things, right? And so that's setting it free. That's not carrying the anger with you. And so that's how you know that you start operating out of the fifth dimension, because these things aren't chaotic to you anymore. You're like, okay, well, that wasn't meant for me, or someone else needed it more because they had to operate in a lower vibration, and I pray, or I ask the universe to put them in situations where they don't have to be that type of person. Do you see what I'm saying here? Everything and everyone you connect with, past, present, and future, is powered through love and forgiveness, all right? And then source starts to flow through you, through your heart, because it's all based out of love and energy, right? With abundance and love. And then you start to operate with everything is connected in perfect harmony. So what's meant for you is meant for you. What's, you know, felt like it was taken from you, it's not, you don't think of it that way anymore. It wasn't taken from me, it just wasn't meant for me at that moment. And if it's meant for me, it will come back around. And so I really feel like that's a way to operate through that. I'm seeing roses in my mind's eye. So roses are like the highest frequency of a flower that there is. So I'm seeing that and the color red in my mind's eye. So it always makes me think of Mary Magdalene or Mother Mary. So you're operating like with empathy and love, okay? Whether you're a man or woman, masculine, feminine, whatever resonates for you, okay? And then I also have written here about the sixth dimension, but you realize in this stage of your life that you're operating, that you're an infinite, limitless being, okay? And that the soul lives on forever. So, you know, you're able to experience grief a lot easier, and it's more of like a celebration, and you carry those people on with your heart. So I feel like for some of you that struggle with grief, and I personally have lost a lot of people in my life, and that's what put me through an awakening, but like too many to count, okay? And I struggled with that for a long time. And I feel like once I realized that we live on forever in different dimensions and however it may be, but I felt like that is the moment that I realized that that person lived on inside of me. And when they left, a piece of their light helped my light expand by them sharing that with me. Okay, so that's something, if somebody, you know, helps with grief, is how you start to, and it's not easy, you still go through the sadness and things like that, but you start to have an understanding that you're always connected, okay? And then the sixth dimension is when you start to become the co-creator of your blueprint, all right? And then you start downloading things because you're in that high frequency of your blueprint and your Akashic records, and you start co-creating and manifesting to make that happen for your destiny, okay? So that's what I have here for you. Those are the channel messages and spiritual teachings that I've learned along the way, but I channeled the rest of that, and I was getting the flowing energy, okay? So I feel like I want to pull from these decks here. So the first one is the Oracle of the Seven Energies, and I just felt guided to this deck. Oh my goodness. And of course, on the bottom is the number 9 here. So I feel like some of you could be, you know, starting to operate out of the 5th and 6th dimensions. We got the Rose's Kiss here. So I feel like that's divine alignment. Like you're coming into alignment, you're releasing with love, okay? And you're starting to see that you're a limitless being. So you could be seeing signs and synchronicities of a ladybug. I feel like empathy here and love is really important, and compassion is what's coming out with that card. And it's almost like you're aligning with your true destiny. You're at that frequency. The highest frequency was the rose, and that's what I was getting here. I haven't opened this deck in a really long time. We got dandelions here, and I feel like I'm supposed to take that. Okay, so willing release here. So you're releasing and accepting things for as they are. Like I said, you're starting to understand if it's not meant for me, or if it went to somebody else, or if I felt like before in the past that was my plan, but you know, someone else may be living that plan. That means that God has something better for you, okay? And maybe they needed that in their life more than you did. And I know that's hard for people to understand sometimes, and I struggle with that as well, but it's a good reminder, okay? And I feel like that's something that I've really been working with on my own too, that those moments where the ego tries to take over and create chaos and make me upset, okay, over something out of my control, I have to quickly remind myself that God has something better wished for me, and there's something better, and so I release that with love and hope that it works out for that person, okay? And that could be relationships as well, even relationships that didn't work out, that were, you know, it was a really hard thing to do, to be able to forgive when there was, you know, anger, and I know a lot of people have experienced that, but once I did that, it set my soul free. And so, you know, I wish them the best from afar, okay? It means that I have healthy boundaries, and I don't associate with, you know, certain people who I feel like were not a good part of my life, and there's blockages up there, and I put those up there for a reason. But in my own heart and in my own soul, I wish them well, and you know, pray that and ask the universe that, you know, they don't have to operate that way, or, you know, be thankful that I don't have to operate the way that I was, or what those relationships, friendships, lovers brought out of me in that time where I was not happy. And I know that there was a higher calling. There was a better plan for me. And so that was the easy way for me to think of it and let it go. And I didn't have to, you know, communicate with those people. So it was fine. And I felt like this sense of freedom here. Cosmic net of reflection. We are a reflection of one another. When we illuminate, we bounce light from our soul to another. So this is how you're being a leader, okay? You're connecting more with the collective. We're all becoming this powerful, powerful force here. And I feel like some of you could be working with crystals. Ooh, and we also have downloads here. Open your senses to receive. Activations are inbound. Let white light flow through you to open your channel further. So I feel like those of you that are operating no longer out of fear, resentment, and things like that, and you're opening yourself up more to divine wisdom is the word that I'm getting here. I just saw 333 on the timer. And divine wisdom is coming through here. You're a way shower. Okay, peacocks could be it's like the all-seeing eye. You're able to see things from a higher perspective, from a divine way, right? It's like the way of the divine's teaching. You're able to see things like, this is meant for me and this is not. Or, you know, you start to manifest easier because you've got so much faith that whatever's meant for you is going to come your way, and you start to align with the things and understand more of, okay, that's meant for me, so it manifests quicker. And you start to understand, okay, maybe that wasn't meant for me. Maybe I was operating out of a lower frequency when I wished for that so badly. And now that I'm able to accept and release and detach from the outcome, I can see that that wasn't meant for me. And so now I can align myself with something that I'm going to be able to recognize, not only through my third eye, but my intuition, and my heart is fully open to embrace it and know that I'm worthy of it, because not only have I forgiven and, you know, sent everyone else off with love, I've done that of past versions of myself. So now I know I'm worthy of the things that I'm asking for, right? And you start to align with the things that are really meant for you, rather than the things that you wish for when you were out of alignment. Very powerful messages coming through. So I feel like, you know, you're becoming the way shower. You're becoming part of the collective. You're a teacher. You become, you know, you start to become a healer. You start to be aligned with your true path, and know that you're here to help awaken humanity, so they don't have to live in those lower frequencies, and they start to live out of love and forgiveness. Okay, so that's the oracle and spiritual messages that I have for you. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Just let me know in the comments if this resonated for you, or if it was helpful, because I'd love to hear, you know, when it connects with you, beautiful, beautiful souls. But I'm going to go and close it here, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.